Hi community. Today we're going to be talking about the types of accounts that we need to have. I get asked all the time, how many accounts do I need? What type of accounts do I need? Where do I keep my money? All of that. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about the 3 basic accounts that we use for our finances on a month-to-month basis or in our lives. So we're going to have the checking account. That's what I call the operational account. That means all of your checks or your income comes into that account, and then all of your bills and expenses are paid out of that account. So income, outgo. That's pretty simple, pretty standard. So then you have your savings account, and the savings is going to be your emergency fund. And actually, I would recommend keeping this at a separate bank. If you are a spender, that is a big problem because we tend to see that emergency fund building up and building up and building up. And then once we get a significant amount of money in there, we think, well, what can I get or what can I do with that money? And so then we start being really, really tempted to spend it. And we're not trying to destroy our emergency fund, but it just happens because it's so tempting to spend, to see that money, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 in there, and like, wow, I need to buy something. I need to do something with this money. Or those of us who are savers, we end up thinking, well, what am I going to do with that money? I could make more money on that. And then we start thinking and being tempted on the opposite end is, how can I invest that money? How can I put that money into my investments? And neither of those things are the right call. So you want to keep the money safe, keep it liquid, but also keep it far enough away that it's not so easy to get to. You need it, you need access to it, but you don't need so easy access that you accidentally spend it. So I'd recommend not just keeping it in a separate account, but keeping it at a separate bank. That's what I do with mine. Then we have what I call the anticipation funds, and I'll go through that in another video and another lesson in detail. But the anticipation funds is the funds that we're anticipating spending in the future. And that is stuff like saving up for expenses like a new car, upgrading your car. Maybe you're doing some remodeling on your home. That's for your vacations. That's for the quarterly or annual bills that you have that are coming due in the future. So you're anticipating spending that money in the future. That's what the anticipation fund is for. And that you can just simply open a savings or a money market in your regular bank or credit union that you have your operational checking account with. And that's going to be where you're going to flush money out to every month so that you can save for these future expenses. And then if you spend money on those items, say a water bill comes in that's due quarterly, you spend that money, then you're going to transfer that money back over into your operational account, and that washes back over. So there's a little bit more detail in how you account for that and how you track all that spending, but again, that's for another video. I just wanted to throw this one out there because that was one of the most important operational things that we can do is, where do we keep our money, how many accounts that we need. Don't overcomplicate it. It's simple. 3 accounts. 1 operational, that's your checking account, bills out, income in. Number 2, anticipation funds. That's a savings or a money market at your regular bank that you sweep money into every month to save for future expenses. And then the third thing is your money market or your savings account. That's your emergency fund. I recommend it at a different bank just to be safe. Make sure that you don't actually spend it or tempted to invest it as well for those spenders and savers. All right, so that's your tip for today. Have a great one.